we're going to have lunch. And I don't know if this is just going to be a superficial surface lunch, or are we going to get down to the nitty gritty and be a deep, meaningful lunch. So I don't know how that's going to go. It's funny. I always say that, the universe, God has its plan. And when you decide to make plans, they get blown up. And the powers that be get to say, oh, you think you know better, huh? Well, you don't. So try again.
Hi everyone, I'm Lexie Callies. Do you feel the squeeze of caring for an elderly loved one and school-aged children? Then welcome to the Sandwich Stories. Let's dig in.
Hiya. Hi, everybody. It's Lexie with Sandwich Stories. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today might be a little tough one. I have, in all honesty, my anxiety is very high right now. I have one aunt. She is my mom's sister. She is 5 years younger than my mom. And in the grand scheme of things, I have not spoken to her, and I definitely have not seen her in 11 years. My grandmother passed away in March of 2013. My mom and her sister had a bit of a fight and a falling out, which sadly happens a lot when someone passes away. Emotions get high, things are said. Maybe you didn't mean them. Things are said in grief, things are said in anger, and there sadly families have falling outs. So that happened to my mom and my aunt. And like most things, um, people take sides. I really didn't take a side, but of course, you side a little bit with your own mother. Anybody would. But my family was the collateral damage of that fight. Um, my aunt really didn't communicate with us anymore. Neither did my cousins. It was just really sad. So in 2018, my mother was in the hospital and was starting to get diagnosed with what we thought was Parkinson's disease. And she was in the hospital for a couple days and she was scared, and she reached out to her sister and told her what was going on, told her that she wasn't in good shape, that she was in the hospital and they were talking about Parkinson's disease. And my mom just broke down and apologized profusely for anything she had said, anything she had done, knowing that this had been 5 years after the initial fight. A lot of things had already changed. And my aunt, in my opinion, did not really reciprocate. She didn't come to see my mom, didn't ask how she could help. She was still just hurt. And sadly, my mom had to accept that. And I did too. I felt it was a little harsh, but what are you going to do? And I can't get in the middle of it because my mom asked me not to. She told me it was none of my business and that I should keep my nose out of it. And if this is how it was going to be, this is how it was going to be. And those were her wishes. And I said, okay. And then when my dad died, she reached out to my aunt and told her that my dad had passed away. And yes, I know it was the pandemic, but my aunt didn't come visit my mom. She didn't. I think this hurts me the most is that my mom's best friend of 40 years had passed away. And in one of the toughest times in the world's history. And my aunt didn't come visit my mom, didn't ask me how she could help. just stayed away. And I'm still hurt by that because I could have used the help. And I think my mom really could have used her sister because my mom at that point made a comment that the only person left in her life that wasn't me, who she could sit there and say and talk about the remember wins, wasn't there for her. And it's really hurtful. And I really feel bad for my mom for that. So when all of this happened, I received a text message that said, "Hey, sorry about your dad. He was a really great guy." That's what I got from family. And it's hurtful. And of course, you all know my mom has progressed. My mom has reached out to my aunt multiple times, birthdays, Christmas cards, all the things she could think of to maybe have an olive branch. And there's just no answer. And oddly enough, about a month ago, was talking to my husband, and I finally had just come to the conclusion that my aunt was not going to be in our lives ever again. And I was done being hurt over it. I was done crying over it. And I was just going to say, you know what? This is how it's going to be. I will not worry about her anymore. And when my mother passes away, I will call her and let her know that her sister has passed. And that would be the end of it. And I literally said that. Then 2 weeks later, after I said this, I receive a text from my aunt saying that her daughter, my cousin Jenny, is doing business of some sort and having meetings in the town we live in. And that my aunt is coming along and she would like to have lunch with my mom and I. Now, you can imagine my jaw was to the floor. I literally had just said to my husband, I'm done. I know I won't see her again. This is just how it will be, and I will move forward. The universe, God, whatever, obviously has different plans for me and my mom. So I told my mom that my aunt had texted me and said she's coming in town and would like to have lunch. And my mom at first was a little apprehensive. I think she's nervous, as well as I am. This is why my anxiety is so high right now. I sometimes letting it run away with me because I am trying to come up with every scenario to make sure that my mom looks good, that she is that she just looks her best because it has been so long. My aunt, I think, will be surprised at how much my mom has changed in 11 years. We all have. We've all changed a lot in 11 years. And my mom's abilities have declined, and she looks different. And as you all know, I'm very protective of my mother. So I am protective and weary of this meeting. Because, of course, I have so many questions and so many things I would like to say. But right now, I know this lunch coming up is not about me. It is about my mom and her sister. And this quite possibly would be the last time they ever see each other. Um, so I have to make it the best it possibly can be and make it the best for my mom. Believe me, I have so many questions I would like to ask her. Why now? What's changed? Um, is it only because you're coming in town because your daughter has business? I mean, heck, they could have shown up, done business, and left, and I would never have been the wiser. So I have so many things to say, but I know I can't. And I have so many questions, and I might not ever get these answers. Um, so, so that's what's going on tomorrow, actually. Um, but for those of you who are listening to this, I don't know when that will be. So it is a Tuesday. It will happen on a Wednesday. And my anxiety is just high. Families are tough. Family fights are tough. I think it hurts the most when the people you're supposed to be the closest to hurt you. Um, because I feel like those are the people who are supposed to love you the most. Those are the people who are supposed to stick with you forever. But it doesn't always work that way. And I know that. Um, I come from a small family. Um, so I think that's why it might hurt for me a little more because my husband has a massive family and he always jokes he has so many family members he can choose who he likes and who he doesn't like and who he talks to and who he visits and who he doesn't. I don't have that. I have one aunt. My dad had a brother, but he passed away in 1984. So, um, and of course, you all know I don't have siblings. So it's just me and my mom. And for the longest time, we've said, well, you know what? It's just the four of us, me, my mom, my husband, and my son, and we will make the best life together that we possibly can do. And now my aunt has decided to show up again. I don't know what this lunch is going to be like. I don't know if she has questions, if something, God forbid, is going on with her physically. I don't know. And I wish I could predict the future. I wish I could see what was going to happen, but I don't know. So we're going to go. We're going to have lunch. And I don't know if this is just going to be a superficial surface lunch or are we going to get down to the nitty gritty and be a deep, meaningful lunch? Um, so I don't know how that's going to go. It's funny. I always say that, the universe, God has its plan. And when you decide to make plans, they get blown up. And the powers that be get to say, oh, you think you know better, huh? Well, you don't. So try again. And I think that's where I am right now. I'm in the try again phase. So, I mean, it could be anything. It could be disastrous. It could be amazing. It could be healing. It could be all the things that I've had questions about, all the whys, all the I could have used your help. Why did you stay away? And I could get answers, and it could be healing, and it could be helpful, and maybe this could be the step to having my aunt be in my mom's life a little more. Or it could be the lunch that says, well, haven't seen you in a while. It was nice to see you. Maybe I'll see you next time. I don't know. But the past couple weeks have been agony for me. I just cannot turn my brain off. I cannot turn the anxiety off. I will go tomorrow and I will be polite and I will have all the things and I will make it the best it can be for my mom because she, yet again, like I always say, she deserves the best. And I know she knows that my aunt is coming in town. She doesn't always remember when it's going to happen, but I know she knows. And I will make sure her hair is done. I will put a little makeup on her, put her in some great clothes, and we'll have a good time. And we'll see what happens. So it's a cliffhanger. So this episode is a cliffhanger. I hope that I have the next episode when I get to tell you all what happened and how it all worked out, and one way or the other. I'm just as much hanging on to this cliffhanger as I hope you are. And I think it'll be interesting. But maybe it will be able to answer questions that I've been having and maybe give me the ability to help anybody out there who is listening work through having someone you thought would not be in your life ever again come back into your life and how to navigate that. This is new territory for me. I've never had anything like this happen to me before. Some people will say certain people are in your life for a lifetime and certain people are in your life for a chapter. And the people who have left my life are in that chapter portion and they don't come back in. Not because I don't want them to, it just doesn't work out that way. And the people who are supposed to be in my life for a lifetime are still in my life. So this is all new. So, how to navigate letting someone back into your life that you thought would never be in your life ever again. That you thought, okay, this is it. We're going to move forward and I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm not going to cry over it anymore. And I'm just going to move forward. So we shall see. I hope that I will be able to learn. I know I will be able to learn from this, and I know I will be able to take something from this to help others and to learn and grow so that I can be able to help my son when he gets older how to navigate something like this, should it ever happen, or how to help my husband navigate this, should it ever happen to him. And how to help my mom through this, because depending on how lunch goes, I might have to help her either figure out how to reconnect and grow a new relationship with her sister, which would be the best scenario, or I will have to help my mom through the grief of possibly not seeing her sister again. So we have two sides of the coin. And I don't know. We're going to see. But so stay tuned in to the next episode and hear how it all went down and what happened and what side of the coin we landed on. All right. So, I wish I could get advice from somebody ahead of time before we go into this, but I'm sure it's different from everybody. And it's just something you have to learn on your own. You have to go through it on your own and come out on the other side. Sorry. Something that you might have to go through on your own and come out on the other side. And just learn from it. Yeah, just learn from it. Take the wisdom and move forward. So there you go. The song for the week for this episode is The Architect by Kasey Musgraves. I was listening to it the other day and it really spoke to me when it came to this subject of thinking you know how it's going to be and something changing. That the architect of your life gets to make a change. And I really felt that it just spoke to me when I was thinking about um, this upcoming lunch. So I hope you get to listen to it and maybe it touches you the same way it touched me, or you take something else away from it. And so, yet again, it's The Architect by Kasey Musgraves. And I will talk to y'all next time. Okay. Have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Sandwich Stories. I really hope you learned some new things and enjoyed it. If you did, tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your sister, tell your dad, tell everybody you know to also listen. Maybe they'll learn some new things, how to help each other out, and find us at Sandwich Stories Podcast. Thanks so much.